everyone, welcome back to my channel. Andrea here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how I do my makeup for my everyday life. And this is going to be a realistic, longer video because I will have to explain everything I'm doing. But in reality, this takes me about 10 to 15 minutes, depends on how much time I have on my hand. This is what I wear every day. I like a very beautiful, glowy, not sticky base. Don't waste a lot of time. It's not a waste, but I don't spend a lot of time on doing my eyes. The focus would always be kind of on my skin and my lips. That's something that I love, and a little bit on my eyebrows. I find that eyebrows are, you know, the line that truly changes the structure of your face. So I do spend a couple of minutes on doing my eyebrows. With that being said, I'm going to teach you how to do this very glowy makeup look that is going to stay throughout the day, I promise. I got into the habit of starting my makeup with the eyebrows. As a makeup artist, I always start my makeup with the eyebrows because you want to apply that eyebrow product on a clean surface. Now, if you start with the eyebrows, you're giving them longevity. I do that with my clients, but I don't always do that with myself, I'm gonna be honest. But I got into the habit of doing my eyebrows first. And I like to use, I was looking for the shade because I actually go in between these three shades, either soft brown, either taupey or medium brown from Anastasia Beverly Hills, of course. You guys know this is my favorite brand for eyebrows. And this is their newest product. It's called ArchiBrows. This is really particular because it has this tiny... Can you get closer? I've never seen anything like it. This is the tiniest little blade. It's literally like a blade. And it creates these like super fine hair-like strokes, right? The thing about this is that in order for it to not break, because it's very easily breakable, you need to leave maybe like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters max. Else, with the pressure, it might break. Okay. Oh, this little fellow came back. Guys, I have a white hair. It's happening. I have a white hair in my eyebrows, and I also have a white hair in my lashes. I like to give my eyebrows a little bit more lift on the arch, right? And then I like to brush it through. Another reason why you should start with the eyebrows is because you can easily brush them through without being scared, that you're going to make a mess around them. I'll show you what I like to do. But imagine this at 5x speed, because in the morning I don't do tutorials. I'm in the zone. So I usually apply most of the product at the end of my eyebrows, like so. Brush them really well. Do you see how they're looking a little bit crazy? Like they're not well defined. They look kind of like smudgy. That's the beauty of doing your eyebrows first. So I brush them through. Now I took a little bit of micellar water on a tiny cotton bud, and I just clean the edges. Now I just discipline them with some eyebrow gel, and I've been loving this one from Vieve. This is called Modern Brow Gel, and just with one swipe, it really disciplines the eyebrows. There are others that I like, but since I've discovered this, I'm very impressed because they really create that 3D, very realistic, fluffy, natural eyebrows effect. Foundation. Here is the tricky part. I rotate my foundations because I have a lot of them that I like. And I have to be honest, I rotate them usually around the color I have. Because I self-tan pretty often, like I self-tan every 2 weeks, my self-tan is like going from dark to lighter till it disappears, right? So right after I self-tan, I will go with the foundation that is really a good match for my skin when I have the self-tan, right? And that is the Victoria Beckham Beauty. Not to say that this is not a good foundation. This is a fantastic foundation, but it also happens to be a really, really good match for when I freshly self-tan, like today. I just self-tan yesterday. So I am going to use the shade 5. Now, the reason why this foundation, I think it's truly beautiful, by the way, you need to shake it really well before you use it, is because it's just so skin-like, but at the same time, it has so much coverage. If you are someone who has dry skin, or if you just, maybe you are like me, you have combination skin and you love that very, very beautiful, glowy, hydrated skin, you're gonna love this foundation. It's packed with skincare ingredients. So as I wear it, I kind of feel like I'm doing something good for my skin as well. If you're wondering what was the product that I had underneath, my last product always in my skincare routine, it's my SPF. Do you see what a good match? Do you see what a good match? That's what I'm talking about. That's why I love to use this immediately after I self-tan. And as you can see, it has very good, very, very good coverage. Concealer is one thing that I never skip. If I would have to choose between concealer, oh my God, this is so much. If I would have to choose between concealer and foundation, I would actually choose concealer. This is a super, super full coverage concealer, but very natural looking. It has a blurring formula that I personally adore. As you can see, a little goes a long way. Now, I like to use this brush from Hourglass. This is a really good brush for concealer. And after I apply the most of it here, I feather it out towards the end of the eye, because in reality, it's the inner corner that needs the most coverage. I'm so dark there. And especially with age, I find that I'm getting even darker. I will use just a pinch more to cover this bruise I have right here. I'm using the Airbrush Flawless Blur Concealer from Charlotte Tilbury in the shade 5. And like you saw, a little drop was perfect for both of the eyes. Then I'm going to use this bronzer. This is the new bronzer from Westman Atelier. This is called Sun Tone Bronzing Creme. And it's in the shade 1. It's the lightest shade. It really depends on how I feel like using this product. Sometimes I will only use this. Other times I will mix both of them. Today, because I'm slightly darker, I'm going to get only the darkest shade, because there's another cream that I like to apply, and you know what's coming after this. You know my favorite product for the cheeks. So this is going to give me a little bit of that structure and color. Of course, I'm going to apply bronzer on my forehead, like so, and a little bit on the nose. Now here comes the product that actually changes everything. And you know what? In full honesty, sometimes I just skip this completely and only use this. There is no product like this on the market. I can tell you that. This is the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlight, and the shade is Peau de Peche. Now I have an older version, not saying that this expired or anything like that, but I have an older version. I have tested the new version in Sephora France, and it's slightly different. Sometimes what happens with brands is that they are forced to slightly change the consistency because the regulations are changing all the time. So all of a sudden, for example, there might be a rule that, I don't know, what silicone is banned from certain countries. So they have to redo the production, replacing that ingredient that might have actually added a lot to the sensoriality or, you know, to the texture of the product. Maybe the color is the same, but you don't feel it the same. So I think maybe, I'm not saying I know, maybe this is what happened with this product, because I feel like it's slightly different than new, because I just bought a new one and it's more dry. The particularity about this product is that it's a cream product that has this beautiful, beautiful shine. It does not fully dry. It has a silky texture. It doesn't fully dry, but it doesn't move. Like wherever you apply it, it's like a gel. It adds color, it adds beautiful texture. It adds this really, really nice shine to the skin. I don't like the pink, especially on me. And I also don't like the gold. I found that the gold on me doesn't work. But this Peau de Peche, the color, wow. Wow. It is the substitute, the cream substitute of Tom Ford Highlighting Duo in Mood Light. I love this beautiful shine. However, do you see the shine right here, right here? Like there are certain parts of the face where I don't like the shine. And that is why I love powder. I'm going to use the Makeup by Mario powder. This is in the shade 2, Neutral Light, with a powder puff. And I take the powder like this, make sure it's nicely pressed into the powder puff so it doesn't deposit too much, but it's nicely distributed on my powder puff. That's very important. Half of the job is done if you know how to prepare your tools. Now, naturally, any concealer will crease in the fine lines. Some of them will crease less, some of them will crease more, but they all crease, right? I have to set my concealer in place. And with what is left on this powder puff, I go around the nose and the mouth. Because there's a lot of movement right here in the center, right? You want to set this part if you have combination skin like I do. Now, the beauty of this product is that you can use it anywhere on the face. So I like to use this on the eyes because it's like a cream eyeshadow, but so subtle, undetectable. So I take a 14 brush from Rephr and I just go first in the crease, like so, a little bit on my bottom lash line, and then what is left, I get it along the lash line. And you see, it gives a little bit of depth, a little bit of structure. This has the exact same effect as on the cheeks, but for the eyes. And then I move on with the other products. Listen, my morning routine is very, very easy. And I just apply this on the center of the eyes. That's it for that little bit of shine. Now I use mascara, and I've just started to use this one from Dior. This is their waterproof version. I actually like more the waterproof version only because I usually work out in full glam. Like, not full glam, but like I work out like this. So sometimes I can get sweaty, but this mascara won't budge. Eyes are done. Sometimes if I have a little bit more time, I will add a little black or like brown at the base of my lashes, but most of the times I won't. That's the reality. I would say I spend like 2 minutes on my lips because I like to use a couple of products. First, the lip liner. This is Summer Fridays, and the shade I'm using is Latte. I like it because it's very creamy. Then I gravitate towards these two lip tints. Now, I think these are water-based. They're both from Victoria Beckham Beauty, and I really, really like how light they feel on the lips. Do they last? No, but I do like a lot their colors. You will think that this is too dark. Just wait. This is actually my favorite one. Let me just show you. Look at this. It's just giving you that beautiful like bitten lip effect. Now you tell me this is not the most beautiful effect. This is in actually a couple of layers. Do you see how it stains a little bit too strong right here where my lips are naturally a little bit more dry? Your lips need to be in good condition if you're gonna use these because they can, you see how it's slightly darker in the middle? Just a little bit. Now, usually after I apply something like this, I will go with the second step for hydration. I don't know if you can see how similar these two are. So this one is the Victoria Beckham that I've just used, right? This is the stain. And this is Summer Friday's Lip Bottom Balm in brown sugar. So naturally, if I want to keep this lip, it's getting slightly darker. If I want to keep this lip, I'm going to apply something that is similar, right? Nobody can tell me that this lip is not perfection. It has that cooler tone. I naturally love anything that is a little bit more cool. I have done a full week of testing back-to-back setting sprays because I was like, it was driving me nuts. I had so many setting sprays and I would still use, you know, out of habit, the same old. So I had a full week where I tested Makeup by Mario, Anastasia Impeccable, this, Until Dawn, Charlotte Tilbury, and Huda Beauty. And I have to tell you, I came to the realization that this is the one that suits me the best. What happened with all the other sprays, which don't get me wrong, I love. I'm never gonna get rid of any of the ones that I've mentioned because I love them. However, this is particular because it gives me the glow, but it forms like a filter on top of my skin, especially after I wear powder. It forms like this filter on top of my skin and the skin does not look dry throughout the day. That's the most impressive thing about this powder melt from One Size. So made up my mind, this is the one that I love the most for myself. I try to apply most of it on the sides of my face and just a little bit on the center to kind of melt the powder that I've applied under my eyes. After looking at my skin hours after I've applied this, even when I had the masterclass with Westman Atelier in Paris, guys, I got so many questions about my glow. And part of my glow was this, obviously, the super loaded tinted highlighter. But another reason why my skin was so glowy for such a long time, because I had 3 masterclasses in the same day, right? I had one in the morning at 9:30 for press. I had one for influencers later. I think it was like a 12:30. And I had the last one at 3 o'clock. So I left there at around 5 o'clock and my makeup was so beautiful and so glowy. And everybody asked me, what is it with your skin? Like, what did you use? And that's a big part of my beautiful looking skin is this spray. If you have oily skin, skip it. It's not for you. If you have dry, mature, combination skin, I think you're gonna love it. Now, what happens after I apply this spray is that, you know, I wish I could be very strategic. Like I wish I could apply it just here or like just here. But no, it kind of sprays everywhere. By the way, the applicator is really nice. Like the spritz itself, it's really nice. However, like I said, it kind of sprays everywhere and it bothers me the shine right here because that's where I have large pores. So I didn't take any more powder. Just with a powder puff, I kind of take the extra shine. And throughout the day, I like to take my powder puff with me. I always have my lip liner with me. So I always take whatever I've applied that day, I take it with me. So I take this, and this. And I don't take anything for my skin because believe it or not, although this is so hydrating, it creates this film on top of your skin and your makeup is glowy, but it's very long lasting. It's the most beautiful setting spray for someone that is looking for that glowy skin without the tacky, without having that sticky feeling on the skin. All products will be linked in the description box as well as somewhere here. If I remember well, I love that now YouTube is having this option where you can see the products directly as I'm talking. So Let me know if you enjoyed this and what challenges do you have with makeup? I would love to know. What are the challenges that we are facing in terms of makeup? I know that we have everything. I know that we're having so many products. Do you have a challenge or like how to pair the products that you already have together? Do you have a challenge in like mixing the right formulas? God knows you have the products. Like you don't need any more products, right? But I'm curious if you know how to use them. Sephora savings event happened, so you probably stock up on those makeup products, right? And I don't want you to buy anything more. I just want to teach you how to use what you already have. So write me in the comments, what are the current challenges with makeup that you're facing right now? I promise I'm going to read all your messages and try to help you with the next videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!